Hey guys, how's it going? Shimbob here, and today I'm just going to be talking a bit about my tips and sort of tricks for improving your win-loss ratio and just your overall performance in attrition. So this is kind of because attrition is the most popular game mode in Titanfall and the one I play the most. Particularly living here in Australia, we sort of struggle to get the numbers to play any other game modes unless there's like a special playlist or something that Respawn's put up. Otherwise, if I want to play like Last Titan Standing or Pilot vs Pilot, there's just not enough people in those game modes to get a full game together almost. So because of that, I've become pretty well versed in the happenings and little tips and nuances of attrition, I would say. I'm no master that can carry an entire team on my back every game, but I can hold my own, and I have just over 60% win-loss ratio, so for someone who's not a superhero of the game mode, that's pretty consistent, I would say. And the gameplay you're watching in the background is an example of a game of attrition, a pretty good one for me actually, probably an above average one for me, that's for sure, with 26 pilot kills and 4 Titan kills, not to give any spoilers away, but that's the end score, so deal with it. But yeah, some pretty nice Ion gameplay and some decent pilot gameplay, I think, while I chat to you guys. So the idea of this video isn't to make you guys into a god of attrition or anything like that. It's more to just improve your consistency, up your win-loss ratio a bit, and just generally help you to pull your weight within a match. That's what I find. Even if I lose a game, as long as I've got what I feel is a good score, enough kills, haven't died too much and fed the enemy kills, then I can sort of rest and feel like I've done my bit. Alright, so let's just get straight into it. Enough talk. The first tip is to always kill something. So this is like with regards to AI opponents and pilots. So if there's no enemy pilots around but there's AI around, don't just run past them and leave them. If they're grunts, just spray them down. They die so easily. I know you'll give away your position on the radar, but you know, it's sort of worth the points almost if you have escape mechanisms especially. If they're Spectres on the other hand, then a little cool trick to do is run up and hold X on the Xbox or is it like square on the PlayStation, and you can actually hack them like in the good old days, and then they become a Spectre for you. And any kills that they get are awarded to you as points. So if they go around and kill some grunts or even a spastic pilot, you get bonus points. So it's not something that happens all the time, but it gives you a better chance of getting more points, which is nice. And the whole killing AI opponents thing is also really good for players that are either new to the game or maybe you're not so confident with your gun skill against other players and pilots. So it's a good way for you to still pull your weight a bit by killing AI opponents and not having to worry too much about dying. Like you'll see from a few of the other tips, it's just about getting, I don't want to say the cheap ways of getting points, but there's a lot of easy and quick ways to get points in attrition, and it's just about spreading those points like across the entire team. So everyone is pulling their weight, that accumulates to a good total score because everyone's getting points and not giving away as many points, and that'll get you a better win-loss. Now, I also know that win-loss isn't as important to everyone as like say KD, but if you can improve them both, you look like an absolute badass of a player, so you might as well improve them. Okay, the next little point is sort of similar to the last one in regards that it's sort of separate for if you're a confident player or not such a confident player. Before I do, I just want to give you a little rundown on the radar, quick tips on the radar, because this is sort of important and kind of needed to know for this tip. The little orange dots on the radar, they're AI opponents. The big orange dots on the radar, they're enemy pilots, enemy players. The big orange triangles on the radar, they're enemy Titans. Then you've got your teammates. The blue dots on the radar are your teammates. I think they're dots. Blue's good, blue's teammates, and blue triangles are teammate Titans. So that's a quick rundown on the radar, and that'll come in very handy just so you have a bit of more awareness about what's going on around you and whether it's AI opponents or actual players around you. I know I used to get a bit confused at the start of Titanfall with that as well. So now that we've got that out of the way, the next tip is to, if you're not such a confident player with your 1v1 gun skills against other players, is stay close to teammates. So stay near those blue dots, stay near those blue triangles, and you'll have a better time because one, your opponents will struggle to decide who to shoot when there's a group of you standing near each other. If you're on your teammate Titans, then they can just take out pilots quickly for you, and it just sort of increases your chances of survivability. Contrary to this, if you're like a lone wolf player, really confident with your gun skills, you feel like you could wipe an entire enemy team off their spawn, then the general rule of thumb is just kind of try and head to the opposite side of the map to where your teammates are all sort of surrounded, and you'll either find the enemy team spawn there or you'll get a nice little flanker out on them. So that's my general rule of thumb when I'm playing by myself. Okay, this theory sort of leads into the next point and is exactly applicable to when you're in your Titan as well. When you're on your Titan, try and stay near your teammate Titans because you all have special abilities that can kind of synergize well with each other. Plus, it's that whole, when your opponent comes around the corner and sees 3 or 4 Titans, not only do they feel overwhelmed, but they got to decide quickly who they're going to shoot. Are they going to shoot the North Star, or is one Titan really weak? And then a lot of the times people won't make the right decision, or they'll be chopping and changing a lot, and that's a good chance for you and your teammates to just team fire them, which is a really powerful thing in first person shooters. So yeah, just general rule of thumb, just run around in a pack and just gang up on people pretty much. Also, when you're in your Titan, a really easy way to get points is to just murder pilots. They die so quickly, but the trick sometimes is the fact that pilots have cool tricks up their sleeve to get away with phase shift or anti-Titan weapons and stuff. So what you want to be doing with that is becoming really comfortable with the best and most efficient way for you to kill pilots as the Titan you prefer to play as. So for me, I play as Ion a lot, and I like to use the laser shot, which is pretty easy, but not always reliable for me. So I use refraction lens and I use the splitter rifle's alternate fire so I can get a bit more of a consistent guaranteed kill. But at the moment I feel really comfortable with killing pilots no matter where they are and stuff, so I get a lot of kills of enemy pilots when I'm in my Titan. Of course, if you can't find pilots, if they're not near you, which is probably a smart thing for them to do, or you're struggling with that, the next best thing is to murder those Reapers. So particularly towards the end of a match, they just come in like it's nobody's business. They're like everywhere, and the more you kill them, the more they seem to come. I don't know if that's an actual thing, but it seems to be the case, especially at the end of a match. It's a good way to shore up a victory or even get a bit of a comeback going. You get the same amount of points for killing a Reaper as you do a pilot, so you might as well have a go at that. And particularly because they don't have as many escape mechanisms up their sleeve as a pilot, so they do a little bit more damage and have a little bit more health, but they're a bit easier and just as quick to kill, I would say. And lastly, I would say to just don't drop your Titan in when you're the only one with a Titan. If you earn your Titan first, you need to keep an eye on that meter at the top of the screen so you can see if teammates have their Titans ready. When at least 2 or 3 of them do, then it's safe to drop, because hopefully your teammates will notice that you've dropped yours, then they'll drop theirs, and then you guys can hopefully get Titan control. But there's nothing worse than dropping your Titan when the enemy's got like 3 or 4 Titans up already. You get murdered straight away, and then you're out of sync with when your teammates are dropping Titans, plus you've just fed them 10 points for a free kill. It's just smarter. Anyway, that's basically all I had to say today, guys. Like I said at the start, very basic stuff. These are just like sort of like a set of rules that I sort of go through in my head like a checklist while I'm playing, and it helps get a bit more of a consistent result, I find. Attrition's just all about outscoring the enemy team, and there's a lot of cheap and fast ways to get points in this game mode, like I've mentioned here. If you guys agree, let me know down in the comments. Leave a thumbs up, that's really appreciated. Let me know a few of your tips and tricks for Attrition. I'm always looking to learn more things, and I know that I definitely miss things. But until next time, just keep doing what you're doing, guys. Cheers.